Hi ladies, today I'm going to show you how to do this textured album cover or journal cover, and I've used a Japanese kimono silk on the background, which was just plain apricot, this colour here. And then I've layered up, and it's got about 6 layers of materials on here that I'm going to show you how to make it, because often we've got a cover or some paper that we want to blend in with a journal, and we can't find anything suitable, and using cardstock isn't always a very good solution because you often get cracking down the side. So what I've got here is the papers that I'm be using inside this journal, and I wanted something to complement that. So it's a pinky apricot. It's probably not that clear to you at the moment, but when you see it in real life, it is. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show you how to use this, do this, and the products that I used. Some of these products you can make yourself because buying them can be a bit pricey, but I've got some here that I've made up myself and some that I have bought off the shelf. So let's get started. This is the new cover that I'm making for a journal that's exactly the same papers, except the papers are a little bit more lavender, so I wanted to complement it. And this is actually the page that I want to highlight, where you've got the soft pinky mauve flowers, the texture bits and the printing on the page. So I'll show you how you layer that up and get that collaged textured look. First thing you do is you cover your paper. Now this is just a satin, I guess you would call it lining grade satin. It's not the most expensive, and what I've done is I've used a fabric adhesive to glue it to the substrate, which is the back here, and it's all ready to go. So it's dry and it's ready to go. So the first thing you'll need to do is you will need to lay down some texture, like I've done here. Some prints you can see in the background here. There's some texts that have been put on here. So I've got a number of these. This is one which I picked up from a really cheap store in Australia called Cheap as Chips, and it was $3. This one here, not sure where it came from. Similar thing, the writing's probably a little bit more detailed. And then I have a third one here, which is very fine. I found this one wasn't that successful, so I'm not going to be using this one on this particular project. When I did this one, you can see that I've got a raised up section here. I used this one for that because I wanted something that would give me a bit of detail. Okay, let's get started. So the colours I'm using will be browns and pinks to get that look. So I've just got the one stamp pad that I'm using for all of them, and let's get started. And just randomly use this archival ink anywhere you want on this, because it's not really going to matter. And just go around in circles and make sure you pick up plenty of colour. You can see it coming through. Take that off, you see you've got that. Ink it up very well. And do a bit more down here and across the spine. And up in this area here. Once again. Okay, now I'm going to change colours, and I'm going to go to a darker brown. And then do the same thing again, but I'm just going to blend it into the areas that I've already done. And you can see that. And up here, here. And might put a bit more down here. Okay, so we've got two lots of writing on here and two lots of texture. Now the next thing that I would like to do is I want to actually put some fussy cut flowers on here like this to give it a very similar look to the other one. And I've got 3 here that I've fussy cut that I want to put on this journal. Now I use fabric paint when I do this because I want it to, I don't want it to bubble. A lot of people use aqua here, and I don't recommend using that because it does cause the paperwork to buckle. And just make sure you cover it all because you don't want any little bits sticking up off the cover when it's finished. And it's done, and just stick that in place like that. Got a damp cloth here. And that doesn't take too long to dry. So by the time you've finished, here that's not sticking properly, by the time you finish one side, this side will be ready to work on. Okay, do the same to this side. The fabric glue that I'm using, I just got from Spotlight. I'm not even sure what the brand is. It just says fabric glue on the bottle, and it's a blue and white bottle. Make sure you've got plenty on there. It's all covered well. Pick it up and glue it into place. Tap it down. Like that. When I glued the fabric onto the board, when I made the cover, I made sure I covered all of it, not just round edges and things like that, so it's very well glued onto the board and it's quite stiff. Okay, just get that excess off. And then a nice one in the middle. This one, because it's on the spine, I'm going to be extra careful that it is actually glued into position properly. I'm just going to bend that spine, put my finger down there so I've got the join in here. And that's ready. Okay, the next layer, I'm going to be using a product called Liquitex. Liquitex is a flexible moulding paste, and the flexibility of the moulding paste is quite important when you're doing something like a journal cover that will get a bit of use, because if it's too stiff or is likely to crack, this wouldn't be suitable. Now you can make your own, and I have made my own in the past, and what I've used in the past is equal parts of fabric glue or aqua here. You can use aqua here if you want to on this because it won't affect the outcome, and 50% talc powder and 50% plaster of Paris, and you will get the same effect. The aqua here, or the fabric glue, will cause the sorry, what I was going to say, we'll bind it together and stop it from cracking. But before I do that, I actually want to do some of this sort of embellishments around here as well on here. And once again, there's stencils. I'm using this one from Holtz to give me the effect that I want. I'll be using this one again, and this time I'm going to be using a bit of a pink to get that effect. It's already got brown on the brush, so it's not going to be coming out too pink. And this will be the results that I'll be looking for. Okay, it's a bit awkward. I'm doing it from this angle. Hold it firmly and just do exactly the same as you did when you did the lettering. And in circles, go over the flowers. And you can see that you've got a soft lavendery rose colour there. I'm going to do the same up here, this corner. And a bit down here. And a bit up here. Okay, so now you can see that we're starting to get the built-up effect that we've got here of multiple layers, with writing over the top of flowers, patterns over the top. And now what I'm going to go in and do is I'm going to put the last layer of writing on there, and I'm using this template here to do that. So I'm going to start with this side first, and the technique with this is just be random. Don't try and be perfect, just try and be random. You don't want to make a detail of the flowers. They're part of the whole thing, so that you want to incorporate them. So here goes. We just put this on. And the key to getting this right is making sure the template is firm when you do this. Okay. Move that. And see the effect. Going to do it down here as well. And I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to take this up here. On the spine here, I think. And might put a bit up here if I can get it in there without wrecking it. Let's see how I go. Just one stroke. Okay, there we go. Okay, now that's pretty well finished. Don't forget to wash this off. Don't let it dry, because you'll never get it off if you do that. Just wash this off as soon as you've finished. Now, what you can do now with this is you can perhaps stick a little card like they've done here on the front of it, like that as well, just to highlight it. So that's the cover of that journal. And you can see it's really lovely, a really lovely finish. This is raised, it's dimensional, and